anyways.
Say your name.
Welcome to Flick Fridays, where we review movies that we're not qualified to talk about, but we do anyways. I'm Brennan.
I'm Katie. And today we are reviewing The Kissing Booth 2. This movie.
Maybe worse than the first one.
Yeah, definitely. They have exposition again for stuff that has no meaning. It was just like, we spent the summer together, it was really great, and then he went off to college. He could have just said that and it would have been fine. Didn't they bring up the mom again?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know why they keep doing that, because it really doesn't add anything to the story.
It doesn't. I mean, I guess you can explain away if people had questions of why isn't her mom there, but nobody was really asking those questions. I don't think it was necessary. They're looking into colleges. Elle and Lee, they have this rule where they want to go to the same school, and they always looked at Berkeley. Fine, whatever, doesn't really matter. But they keep saying, Elle's dad keeps saying, we can't really afford this.
As they're living in like $1 million mansion
in Hollywood Hills, in California, where everything is so expensive. It makes no sense. That's what I'm saying, though, is if they had to pay for like hospital bills for the mom, funeral, stuff like that, it would make more sense as to maybe they had to take stuff out of Elle's college fund. But that was years ago. They should be fine now. Already, the story's only a month later, and it's already still incredibly cringy when we start back after the exposition. I feel like this one is just worse already, and it's not good. I don't think we needed a sequel. I guess they set up for one so they could have one if they wanted to, but I don't think it was necessary.
I think they had to do a second one because it was popular on Netflix, but not the popular they thought it would be.
It's popular.
It was the bad popular.
So we go back to school, and did people stare this time? I honestly don't remember. We watched these 2 weeks ago, and it's all gone. I don't remember anything about it.
I don't think so.
Anyways.
It was more about the teenage, like, it was more dramatic than the first one.
Oh, yeah, because Noah went away to Harvard. Forgot to mention that. And so everybody thinks they broke up because long distance, which I guess makes sense. But again, not everybody in the school is going to care. Everybody in the school cares, and there's no reason as to why. So they're talking about the kissing booth again, because of course that has to be a plot point again for their... Okay, this is another thing. So many sidetracks because this movie is just not connected at all. They have this dance team, and we never see it. We never see any of them. We don't see their members. We don't see them talking to anybody about it. It just exists for the purpose of them having a kissing booth.
I can't even explain why.
I don't think they could either, so they just didn't. We are at lunch now, and then we get introduced to the OMGs again. Still a stupid name. Still just as stupid. And this time they have a title card.
Really stupid. Yeah, and they already introduced them in the first movie. They were a big part of it, too.
They explained a lot about them before, too, and then they just re-explained everything again. I feel like maybe this movie was made to not necessarily be like a sequel movie where you reference things from the first movie. They have a couple things, but it feels more like a sequel that's made to be watched independently.
Kind of like SpongeBob. You don't have to watch the episodes in order.
Yeah.
It's just for fun.
They approve the kissing booth, whatever, and now we have this conflict about, who's going to be the main event, because Noah was supposed to be the main event, even though he wasn't last time. But anyways, and then there's this thing with this new guy, Marco. But first, we have to talk about Elle and Noah's FaceTime calls. Noah did a complete 180 in his personality. He was so angry and like, oh, I love you so much. I'm so angry at the world. And now he's just like, oh, sweet, nice. It's fun time.
She said like she was trying to give him space or something. Like you would
Oh,
think if you
yeah.
missed him, you would like text him every day, but they didn't even text, which is really weird.
Mm-mm. Take care.
That's just weird. Nobody does that.
And then they're at the Hollywood sign again. Or Elle's just by herself this time, which the first time, you can't just sneak past security to go to the Hollywood sign for no reason.
There's literally like a little base above it on the hill that
And you
like
can see
with
it.
snipers and stuff.
You can literally
Yeah.
see it. They must have paid a lot for that, which is how they ran out of money for other things. So we go back to Santa Monica Pier with Lee and Elle. They're playing Pac-Man, or is it Mrs. Pac-Man? Doesn't really matter. But
It's just like some kind of video game.
yeah, and we never knew that Elle was into video games. I get in the first movie, I guess we got those couple shots where she was playing games against people drunk. But other than that, never really any indication of that. So now she's suddenly real big into Pac-Man. And then she sees this paper with the dance competition. Or wait, that's not how the story goes. This movie. So they go to play Just Dance because Elle like lost Pac-Man or whatever, and
They lost their high
find that
score.
they lost their high score to someone named MVP. Which, if your child's initials are gonna be MVP and you acknowledge that, you need to get a better
Yikes.
naming system. But so they find out it's MVP, this mysterious person, and then they end up beating it, and then they go away. And I don't remember what happens after this because I clocked out again. Go
When
ahead.
they came back, it was broken again. And I think that's when they
Right.
saw the paper that was like the dance competition.
I think so. Yeah, I clocked out at this point because my notes just say no DDR anymore. Oh, never mind. Exposition. In what universe would this happen? And then Shirtless Dude Part 2. So I don't know what happened in between those points. And then we go back to school and we finally get to see a video of Marco, this new transfer student from, we don't know where he comes from, but the new transfer student, and somebody took a video of him at the gym, which is very well shot with lots of cuts in it. I've seen this happen before. I've seen this happen before in movies where they will take a video that's supposed to be shot on a phone. They'll shoot it with an actual camera and have several different angles and cuts, like somebody professionally edited it. It doesn't work. It would have made so much more sense if they just had like a single shot that was a little shaky and a zoom. That would have been fine. It would have made more sense logically. It would have looked better.
It would have been better if it was like a shorter video because she was like leaning against like the intercom over like the whole school, and it was like a minute long, and she was like
it was like 5 minutes.
How hot he was for a minute.
She ends up getting invited to take a flight over to Boston to see Noah. I don't remember when it was or
Thanksgiving
why.
Break.
That one. Break. Okay, so she flies over. They have a great time. Another compilation because this movie loves compilations. And then we finally meet Chloe, who I will say she is very gorgeous. I think she's very attractive. But she seems so nice. Like, Elle is making her out to be this villainous person.
Well, I think she kind of crosses the line the way, like, she hangs out and acts with him. Like, I would probably be mad, too.
I guess so.
Or jealous.
I guess so, but I also feel like it's a little bit much where she's like, she's the worst person on the face of the planet. I hate her so much. And she's like, oh my God, you're so pretty. Like, how are you doing? What's happening? This must be Elle. Oh my God. Like, she's being so polite about it and stuff. And it's just not, I feel like they needed to make her a little more snarky, where she was like, "Oh, so this is Elle." Like, you need to make her a really bad villain because this movie doesn't have a villain. It's just, again, white people complaining about the problem. So, and then she snoops in his phone after like their dinner thing while Noah's in the shower. Like, it wasn't anything bad.
I think if she would have like read it a little bit longer, she didn't have very much time because he was coming out of the shower. But if she had more time, I think she wouldn't be as worried. Doesn't she find the earring before she leaves?
Yeah. Oh yeah, she finds the earring, and then I didn't even write anything about this because it felt so unimportant. She finds the earring, which is like, okay, it's obviously Chloe's, but and that would be the point where I feel like I would get worried if I was in a situation like that where it's like, oh, she's a little friendly with him. Oh, these texts are kind of weird. And then, oh no, this is her earring. What do I do? That's where, so it makes sense that she like stormed out and left after that. I give the movie props for doing that. But immediately they just move on to the, what is the thing called again? I just keep calling it DDR because that's what it is. DDM. So they move on to the training with the competition. Lee's not spending a lot of time with his girlfriend. This is another subplot that I was just like not here for. But so they move on, and then Lee breaks his ankle or something like that. They never really explained what happened. Yeah, well,
he trying to get out of it.
He faked it, spoiler alert. But then they just kind of go out for like a walk, and they find Marco playing the guitar, and he's all really popular with everybody. And he's just really shoved into the plot where it's like, oh, you want to be my DDR partner? No. Do you want to be my DDR partner? Okay. Great. Oh, wait. Oh.
Isn't that where she asked about the kissing booth too?
No, I just realized that they totally don't do the loudspeaker thing until now. I don't know what was happening. Was Noah doing something at the gym before? Okay, so apparently now is when we see the loudspeaker thing that we already talked about. So we're just going to move on from that. But again, they shoved him into the plot, and they used the same gym set as when Noah, I think there was something about Noah in a gym at some point. They used the same set for Noah and Marco, so I don't know what happens there. Anyways, Noah ignores her for some reason. We're moving on.
Oh, I think he ignores her calls.
Oh.
Because he was at like the concert or something.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, and then she gets upset, and then suddenly he ignores her. So now we learn that Marco is the one doing the DDR stuff. So they didn't ask him earlier either. All of these plot points are so just muddled together in the same three sets that I can't decipher where things are placed. You could change the order of the movie entirely, and it would probably have the same effect. Now is when they ask Marco about the DDR thing, and he says, only if you can beat me in DDR. And she learns that he's MVP. Again, stupid name. Literally choose anything else. But he's very manipulative in the way that he's like, well, I'll do the kissing booth, but you have to do this. And he pretends to be whatever. I guess it's like, fine, but it really wasn't great. Anyway, so he agrees to do the kissing booth, and we move on. Again, it's just, you move on, we're done now. So now they're sitting on like this random bench outside at night. I don't remember how that happened or why it happened. I think it just kind of like did. I think they were just like there.
A school party?
Maybe.
Was that before the Halloween party?
No, it was definitely before the Halloween party, right? Wait, what's happening? I completely forgot about the Halloween party. Doesn't matter. The Halloween party didn't matter. I think they sat on a bench outside afterwards. And I will say that the shot that they have where they're talking is very pretty with the bokeh in the back. All of the lights are blurred. It's very romantic. I get it. I will say that was nice. But where did his guitar come from? He was just like, so,
maybe he keeps it in his car.
But he just pulled it out like that. It was just like that. He didn't have a case next to him or anything. We need realism. Because if you just, it's like a cartoon. Yeah. But it's like a cartoon where you just pull out the guitar from nowhere and we just move on. So he sings, it's whatever, they move on. I expected them to kiss because I thought that's where the plot of the movie was going. They surprised me by not having that.
Yeah, I was surprised too.
So good on you, Kissing Booth. You did one thing good. Are they doing the Kissing Booth now? Is that what's happening? Or no, this was the beach. There are so many scenes where there's nothing. There's nothing happening. There's nothing going on. The only thing that I remember is this subplot with this dude named Miles. Comes out of nowhere, and he's crushing on this dude. Fine, whatever. We love representation.
Oh, but yeah.
It feels so forced in. It's like, hey, do you like that dude? And it's like, yeah, maybe. And then we move on, and they don't bring it up until the end. There's no reason. He's not a main character. We didn't get to know him in the first movie. So why is he there? They just wanted to have some representation in there? Because they wanted more people to watch it. Oh, no. Okay, so turns out this is another thing off. So it turns out the Halloween party was afterwards because I have one note that says, did they hire people to hold these candles all night? Because they had
I remember that. I was like, there's no way somebody could hold a candle for more than 5-10 minutes.
They have this dramatic exit, and we move on to the dance scene, the DDM competition.
Yeah.
How do you rent out this fancy theater for an entire day? They have a rotating platform. Where's the stuff plugged in? It makes no sense.
I don't know. They just set up the moves so they could dance around it, which doesn't really make sense. Why are they making up a dance on a dance game?
I don't know. I guess I think that's a thing in real life with DDR. I don't really know. I don't know about you, but I don't really follow the DDR trends. I still don't understand how they're hitting all of the steps. It shows perfect when they're literally standing at the bar. Nobody's feet are moving. The compilation that they had of the other people doing the freestyle stuff, they were actually on the platform doing the moves, but they were more performing to the audience. They had it memorized, that type of thing. Okay, fine. And then at the end, I think somebody did a backflip. That's fine. But they had a routine that was completely off. Anyways, they start their routine, and then we see that Noah's in the audience. This is my biggest problem with this movie. They showed Noah too soon. I feel like she should have kissed him, looked back, because she was upside down, looked back at the audience, and then she would see Noah, and he would just be staring, and then leave. That would have been so much more dramatic. It would have been so much more fulfilling. Instead, we see him halfway through the performance, and we know what's coming because we see him.
I knew they would be kissing eventually, as soon as Marco came into the story.
Yeah, I knew it was going to happen, but I didn't really know when. And then they still had it at not a good time. So they win the money somehow because they had the perfect accuracy rate or something like that.
They just needed them to win for the story to go along how it did.
I guess a lot of movies do that though, where people who are clearly worse win for spirit. and storyline reasons. They win the money, and then we like smash cut immediately to Thanksgiving, where
Everybody hates each other and they just argue at the
Yeah.
table the whole time.
and then they just have these shots of Elle like chasing after people. It wasn't really
Again.
necessary. I feel like it should have been more of like a dramatic thing where if you're gonna not go for realism, really push it where everybody's already sitting down, maybe Elle and her family are late. They come in and everybody just kind of turns and is like, we hate you. That would have been so much better because it's not realistic in the slightest, but neither is the entirety of this movie. So I feel like it would have just been better. Instead, we get a lot of just chasing and running. So then everybody talks about their dramas. They kind of hash it out at the table with their parents there, which
is weird.
It's really weird. And Elle has the earring with her, which means that she was planning on doing this the entire time. You would not bring it with you if you were not planning on doing something like that.
She was definitely planning on it.
Lee and his girlfriend, still don't remember her name, they like talk it out, and then Elle and Noah talk it out a little bit, and suddenly everything's like okay. It's still a little rocky, but they're like, well, I guess you're okay. And then they move on. There's no time to sit back and say, wow, that was a very powerful scene. They have the kissing booth at the fair thing again. Completely forgot about it. I completely forgot that they had planned it at the beginning because they mentioned it and then just moved on. We didn't see them planning anything.
Yeah.
Does Marco kiss her again? Is that what happens where they have the kissing booth, it's still just as successful, we move on? The title should not be the kissing booth too, because that was not the main part of the story. It didn't really need to be there. Maybe Marco could be part of a different group and they want to do a kissing booth. It's literally any ideas are better than the ideas that they had. So
she has to choose between like Noah and Marco, and then she just like lets Marco know like, hey, I'm gonna be with Noah.
Yeah. Oh, but before that, again we get Miles and his boyfriend come up again, where they kiss and everything's fine and everything's happy and everybody's fine. No reason, doesn't matter. Elle, I think, realizes like, oh, I want to be with Noah, and Noah and Chloe are in the airport already. He's going to take off soon. This whole dramatic thing that's in every romance film ever. So she goes there and just runs past security. No one stops her.
Runs past TSA, everything.
They find each other. Everything's fine. They kiss and make up and woo! Suddenly they graduate. And their graduating class is like 50 people. Did you notice that? There was nobody there.
I didn't notice that.
There were like about 3 rows of seats each, and half of them were like families. The movie ends, and they set it up for a third movie where she gets the 2 envelopes and she has to decide, are they coming out with a third movie?
I hope not.
I hope not too, but I feel like they will because money. Overall thoughts?
It was bad again, like the first one. I don't know. I think it was a little bit more interesting than the first one, though.
Overall, it's just as bad as the first one, maybe worse. Sorry about it. So, Brennan, what do you rate this movie out of 10?
I'm going to give this one like a 3.5.
I think it's like a 3.
So like a 3.25.
3.25 out of 10 is our overall rating. So, thank you for watching Flick Fridays. We hope you guys enjoyed. We might have a new guest next week. So, we hope you guys enjoyed. And we'll see you soon. Bye!